All right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, of course, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Mark Fuller. This is TeamAlliance. I have a very good video for you today. Got a goodie. This is an Ask Mark Anything question. Shout out to Tyrell Carter. Tyrell. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, my man. I'm going to ask the question that he asked, and then I'm going to frame the question for the video. So the question is, Mark, are you concerned about, and before I do that, let me just take a look at one thing, because I'm also watching the market in the background. Okay, making sure I don't have a potential trade. Yep, market's doing too much. Okay. And what is up with this lighting, man? I keep seeing the sun's rays in the video, and that really gets on my nerves. I have a bit of OCD, so y'all gotta forgive me. You see how it's going in and out? I know y'all see that too. That annoys me. Because I can see it on the screen. I'm going to move. Y'all sit tight. All right, that should be better. I moved across the street, actually, repositioned myself altogether. The glare from the sun, it was interrupted. I could see the rays on here, and I don't like that, man. I know people got us, think I'm a little off, and I am a little bit. I just want to be able to give the best visual when I'm doing these videos. So, all right, let's get into the content. So the question is, hey, Mark, are you concerned about market openings and closings and overlapping markets affecting your trades? Also, how do you approach news? Do you trade with it or avoid the market completely? And this is really an excellent question. I'm not just saying that just because I tend to say that, but this is a very good question, because I know that this is relevant to many people who are coming from a Forex background. And, a lot of people actually have strategies that they use in conjunction with news, but that's definitely not the case with us trading the binaries on NADEX. So let me frame the question. How do you deal with news when trading 5-minute binaries on NADEX? How do you deal with news when trading 5-minute binaries on NADEX? And I'll get into what he asked about as far as the market openings and when different markets close, meaning the different sessions throughout the day. You got the US session, you got the Asian session, you got the German session, you got the London session. In different parts of the world, in different countries, when their stock markets open, they are the beginning of the sessions in that part of the world. Like for the for the US, as an example, the US session, I believe, begins at 8:30 in the morning, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And y'all bear with me, I may get into a potential trade here. Let's see what this is doing. All right, let's see. It looks like it's setting up. Let's see. All right. Yep. I'm in it to win it. And I'm pretty sure my students saw this opportunity just now. If not, I will post in my group and let them know. This is a good trade right here. That is winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, so let me continue on with my video. Excuse me. So when the market is opening in different parts of the world, they represent the different sessions that are moving. And when there's news that comes out, news will affect the overall market, and specifically it will affect markets during the time of the session that is currently running. So when we're trading the binaries on NADEX, we're not necessarily relying on news to move the market in order for our trades to be presented to us. So on the contrary, we don't want to be in the market most of the time when there's news, because news will cause erratic movement and behavior in the market. And that type of erratic movement is not what it is that we're looking for when we take trades. So the way that we deal with news is we don't deal with news. But it doesn't matter whether we're aware of there being news coming out or not, because the reaction by the market from the news that has been released is what we're watching anyway. Like, we're looking at market behavior, the way that the market is moving when we're on the charts. It doesn't matter if there's news or not. We know when to stay out of the market completely. So with that being the case, if you know when to stay out of the market, it doesn't matter if news is introduced into the market, because you're going to avoid being in the market when you're not supposed to be in the market, if that makes any sense. So depending on what it is that you're doing, and this is why, you know, like people that deal with strategies and things of that nature, what they're doing is they're really trying to box in the market. And you can't box in the market to anything. You can't put it in a box and just say, well, this is what I want the market to do, and when everything fits into this, then that's when I'm going to take my trades. It doesn't work. You actually have to follow along with what the market is actually doing. You have to be in tune with the actual behavior that the market is presenting at the time. You have to be aware of the environment of the market at the time, because the environment of the market will dictate what the behavior is in the market at the time. Things are correlated and connected when it comes to the market. And if you don't understand the individual things that the market is made up of, like as far as its movement, you know, what even constitutes movement in the market to begin with? Why does the market move in the first place? When it does move, why does it move certain ways? Why does the market shift and change the behaviors that you'll see from time to time? And when it does shift its behavior, why is that relevant to what it is that you're doing? Like, these are all relevant questions that you should be asking and need to ask, because by asking them, you'll actually connect yourself to what the market is doing, instead of limiting yourself to a strategy that tries to curve fit the market into a box, which is impossible. That's the problem that everyone runs into. You cannot curve fit the market. You cannot put it into a box. So because of that, you have to rely on actually understanding what the market does, the dynamic behind the market, the mechanics of it. What causes the market to move? What causes the market to move faster and speed up? What causes it to slow down? And when it does do these various things, how can you actually apply what it is that you're doing in the market in order to be profitable? These are all relevant questions. So, you know, the question of, like, how do you deal with news? How do you deal with different markets when they open? It all comes back to what it is that I talk about all the time anyway. Understanding market behavior, understanding the way that the market moves, and continuing to develop and to build your skill when it comes to that. So as you continue to learn about the market, notice I'm not saying learn the strategy, because it's not about a strategy. It's not about one particular thing that you're doing that's going to cause you to be profitable in the market. It's about your understanding of the mechanics behind the market and the dynamics of the market, how it moves, and how that relates to what you're specifically doing to be profitable in the market. So it's like, how are you taking your understanding of the market and applying that to the instruments that you're trading? For me, it's 5-minute binaries. For someone else, it could be the Forex market. It might be hourly binaries. It might be weekly binaries. It might be 20-minute binaries. You have all of these different instruments that you can trade, but the bottom line is, if you don't understand the market itself, it doesn't matter what you trade, you will end up losing. And that's just it. So that's the nature of the market that we're dealing with. And this is the perspective that I teach my students. Is also the perspective that I have and that I apply every day in the market myself. So it's not about, well, when news comes out, what do? How does news affect the market is the question. Does it create erratic movement? Is it speeding the market up? The answer to that question will answer whether or not I'll even be engaged in the market at all. Like, period. So it's a very good question, and it's valid. And that is the answer. The way that we deal with news is we do what we normally do as far as interpreting the market. So if the market has been affected by news, we'll see what the reaction to whatever news has come out is, and we'll know to either remain out of the market or ultimately to position ourselves to engage in the market, depending on what the market does. So it's always about what the market does. It's not about whether there's news or not. It's what the reaction of the market is to news that will give us the information that we need to either stay out of the market completely or to engage. All right. So hopefully that's a good answer, a good response to that question. Thanks again for the question. I definitely appreciate when you guys, ask questions. Definitely appreciate when you guys are presenting the questions to me. What else did I want to cover? I think that's it. I think that pretty much covers it. And that was a very good question. You guys continue to, send me your Ask Mark Anything questions. If you have a question about anything regarding the markets, regarding TeamAlliance, if you want to know more specifics about the way that we kind of do things. I mean, I'm not going to give you all the information that we go over in training, of course, but believe it or not, the majority of what we go over in training is in these educational videos. A lot of it has to do with patience, mindset, discipline, all the things that are relevant for you to be successful doing this long term. That's the bottom line. You want to be successful doing this, you got to have patience and discipline out the gate. If you're going to be dealing with the market at all, you're going to have to learn how to be patient, period. It's not optional. All right. So once again, send me your Ask Mark Anything questions. If you have anything else that you want to ask, just message me. You can connect with me on Facebook. Fastest way to reach me is on Facebook. Send me a friend request. Let me know that you want to get into training. You can also send me a text message at 914-979-2317. That's pretty much it. That pretty much covers it. The links for the educational series videos you'll see underneath this video in the description box. The link for the 1-a-day challenge, the 1-a-day playlist, that's under there. Everything that you need should be underneath the video. All my social media, if you want to reach out, I'm easy to find. Just connect with me. All right, Mark Fuller. TeamAlliance, another Ask Mark Anything question. Thanks again for the question. Let me get your name right again. Let me look over here. Tyrell. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Mr. Carter, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being a subscriber on the channel also. I'll talk to you soon. Those of you looking to join me in training, I'll talk to you in training soon. Everyone else, continue to enjoy the educational content and, you know, reach out when you're ready. Mark Fuller, Team Alliance. Deuces.